I'm done trying to make my hair look good for this video. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Olivia, or Liv, and I'm a bookworm. Wednesday, guys. So recently I finished the Hunger Games series. I finished Mockingjay about a week ago. Maybe a little bit less than a week ago. Probably a little bit less than a week ago. I finished it, I think, yeah, a week ago when this video goes up. So I finished the Hunger Games series recently, and so I thought that since I didn't do a review for the first 2 books, that I would do a big review of the entire series. So that's what today's video is. And I'm going to try to make this as spoiler-free as possible, but I can't, it's kind of hard to do that. So I'm going to try my best, so please bear with me. Let's get on with the video. I'm insane. So, if you didn't already know, there are 3 books in the Hunger Games series. The first one being The Hunger Games, obviously. So I'm going to start out with a quick, hopefully spoiler-free review on this one. So, I kind of did like a small review, like a quick, tiny, short review in my what I read in May video, and so you kind of got the base from that. You kind of got my thoughts from that, but I'm just going to basically give out all of my thoughts about this book. And remember, I did read this book a month ago, and I don't remember quite a lot about it, but I'm going to try my best. Like I said, bear with me. So the concept of the Hunger Games is a very different concept from anything, really. And it's so unique, so it draws a lot of readers in. And I haven't read a lot of things like this before, and I don't think anybody has. But this kind of futuristic, I really like books that are written in the future, because really, we don't know what the future's going to be like. So we can perceive it as anything, really. And so I also like to write that kind of thing as well. But with the Hunger Games, because it's such a different concept, it's a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it's really cool, I guess. This is probably one of the fastest reads for me. It's like 370 pages, I think? 374 pages. And, wait, did I say 74? 74, yep. 374 pages, but I finished this book in 2 days. For the amount of pages that it has and the amount of time I finished it in, I'm like, this one was really quick for me. Especially because I'm not that fast of a reader. It probably takes me like an hour to read like 40 pages or 50, so. I'm trying to make this as spoiler-free as possible. It has you drawn in for sure. There are cliffhangers at the end of every chapter, and it keeps you wanting to turn the next page. And I love books that do that. And this book definitely did that for me. I cannot. My brain does not want to work today. At midnight, it's gonna like turn on, and it's gonna be like, oh yeah, you should clean your room. Oh, I don't understand you, brain. I really don't. Overall, I think that if you like action, you will like Hunger Games. It's really, because it's so different and because there's nothing like this out there, if you like action, you will like Hunger Games. It's pretty simple like that. It's not too fantasy, and it's not too sci-fi, but it's really action. I mean, of course, it's a fantasy sci-fi. I guess it's kind of sci-fi, but really, if you, like, the moment you read the first chapter, you're immediately drawn into the book, and I feel like if I like books that get straight into it, and even though this book is kind of like eventually you'll get to the games and how that goes on, but because there's so much that happens before the games, I would say it's kind of hard to keep your readers drawn in, but Suzanne Collins does that. So I really like this book. I'm just trying to say that I really like this book in big wordy words that make me seem smart. Okay, the next book in the series is Catching Fire. So I feel like in series, if you read the first book and then you're like, oh my gosh, that was so good, and then you get to the sequel, it's like, for most of the time, it's kind of like a downgrade. So it's not an upgrade, it's a downgrade. So really, the sequels are not as good as the first book, and I really thought that was going to be the case with this, but I have to say Catching Fire is probably my favorite book in the series. This book has so many twists and turns, and it will keep you reading and reading and reading. This book is so good. I seriously think that it's better than all, like, even the finale, like Mockingjay, I still think Catching Fire is better than Mockingjay. I don't feel this way about a lot of books, like a lot of book series. I feel like the second book is always, like, not as good as the first one, but I have to say this one's better than the first one. I know it's kind of different, but I really enjoy this book, especially because it's, at first it's not the concept of the games anymore, it's kind of different, and then you're wondering, like, well, if this is the Hunger Games series, like, there has to be Hunger Games. And so, really the fact that this didn't start out with that was also different, but because it still has something to do with the universe, it pulls you in. Kind of like, I guess I'm trying to say, like, Percy Jackson and, like, Heroes of Olympus, how we all thought is a sequel to Percy Jackson. And so, The Lost Hero, it didn't have Percy in it. And so I feel like that's kind of what this is when I talk about the concept of the games. And it doesn't have the games in the first half of the book, and so it's a little strange at first, but you still, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say! Honestly, I'm terrible at talking about books, so I apologize if this is really wordy and really not making any sense, because it's not making sense in my brain. What I'm trying to say is that Catching Fire is such a good sequel, and you don't get that with a lot of book series, and so I really like this book. And it will have you wanting to read more every single second. You will love it. Okay, I know I said this was going to be spoiler-free, but I have to talk about Mockingjay. So finally, we have the finale, which is Mockingjay, the last book in the Hunger Games series. I have to talk about this. So I have so many thoughts about this book. So this is the finale, and this is like the big moment, and as much as it was really big, but it was also kind of strange, if that makes sense. I guess this is the big finale, it had to be really big, and it was really big. And as much as I really liked the ending of the series, I wish it did have a few more things. And overall, like, battle-wise and, like, end of the story wrapping up all the loose ends, it does an okay job of it, but, like I said, like, fighting-wise, battle-wise, it does a great job of wrapping it all up, and I think it was really cool. And some people might have been able to expect the ending, but I didn't. Actually, I'm not very good at stopping and thinking when I'm reading books. I just go, which is really annoying sometimes. But when I was reading this, I blew through the last 100 pages in one night, I think. And so really, I have a hard time remembering what happened in the last half of this book. Also, when I was making the Hunger Games sorting into Hogwarts Houses video that should have came out 4 days ago? No. A week ago? Yeah, a week ago today. And so, when I was making that video, I spoiled a huge thing for myself, and I kind of hate myself for it still. Spoiler alert. So when I was making that video, I was searching up a photo for Prim, and it had in her bio, like, when it has, like, the character profile to the side for Wikipedia or whatever, it said, like, she was killed in the bombing of Snow's mansion, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't expect that coming. And, and I was so mad at myself after that. I stopped for a minute and just, like, stared at the computer, and then I was like, are you kidding me? So, that's my thoughts on that. Overall, I do think that this did a great job of wrapping it all up. But I'm going to, for the next, like, I don't know how many minutes, I have no idea how many more minutes I'm going to talk about this book, but for the next however many minutes, I am just going to tell you guys about the things that I wish had happened in this book, and the things that I wish had more detail, and blah blah blah, so no spoiler. So because I read through the last half pretty fast, I didn't really look into the details of it much. And then when we watched the movie, I know I'm hating myself already for saying this, but when we watched the movie, it kind of like not cleared things up, but made things more obvious to me, because I hadn't seen it when I was reading the book, because I was reading it so dang fast. And so, like with Finnick's death, I did not, all I read was that they got to the top of the ladder and he was gone. That's like how stupid I was. I didn't see that Katniss literally, like, ugh. That scene was, in the movie, that was terrifying. And stop talking about the movie! With Finnick's death, I wanted it to hurt me a bit more, and it didn't really hurt me as much. And because I really liked Finnick's character, and to see him die right after he had gotten married, and then we find out later that he was going to have a son, it all, like, it's just heartbreaking to me, and I hate it. And I wish we had gotten a bit more detail into what Annie was going through, because obviously they had a really special relationship, and I really wish we had gotten at least, like, maybe a conversation between Katniss and Annie, just to see how she was going, because really we don't get how Annie, we don't really understand how Annie is feeling, because she doesn't show it on the outside other than when they're talking with President Snow about how they want to run another Hunger Games, and she says Finnick would say no if he were here too. But like, she doesn't really show that much emotion in that either. And so I kind of wanted something more from Annie. Just, that's my thought though. I'm also kind of sad that Peeta is never going to be the same. And that kind of really didn't sink in for me until the very end when I read it. Because, like, she doesn't state specifically that he's getting, like, much better, or he's going back to normal, or if he's never going to be the same. But she kind of said that, so really it's my fault. But I think that as much as I love Peeta, I think it was a really interesting twist to the story to see that Peeta's never going back to who he was before. And it kind of, as sad as it is, not everything is so happy in books. People change, and that's kind of the thing that I really liked about it. I also, like, I love Peeta's character, but I think that it was interesting to see him completely change, and, like, kind of, it was different. It was different, and I liked it. I also, one of the other things that I really wish we had seen towards the end was I wanted to see more of Katniss and Gale. Like, I'm a Team Peeta stan. We stan Team Peeta, but I kind of wish we had gotten a bit more, at least one more conversation between Katniss and Gale. I wish they had ended things on a good note, and that they still kept in touch in the future, I guess, or something like that. I also want to know how Gale is doing, like in the epilogue. Like, I don't really like epilogues that much, because, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And you, like, don't, I think, I'm pretty sure Rick Riordan said this, that he doesn't like epilogues because they don't allow the readers to imagine, and I agree with that, because I kind of wanted to imagine what life would be like, and it was kind of written out for me, and I'm not sure if I agree with the epilogue, but I think it was a good touch to the story. Overall, I really enjoyed the series, and I highly recommend it to anybody and everyone. Anybody, you should definitely at least give the series a try. If you don't like it, I understand. It's not for everybody, but I think you would like it. Especially if you just like, I don't know, future. If you like the future, you should read this. If you like future and destruction and suspense, read Hunger Games. You won't regret it. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. That is it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does mean a lot to me. So those were my thoughts on the Hunger Games books. This is just my opinion on the Hunger Games series. If you disagree with me, that's cool. If you agree with me, that's cool too. You do what you want to do. You do what you do. You do you. If you're new here, don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below and click the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video, which is every Wednesday and Sunday. I do a whole bunch of random stuff here. If you like Percy Jackson, subscribe. If you like Hunger Games, subscribe. If you like Divergent, which I just started reading, subscribe. You know what? You should just subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at @LiveTheBookworm, where I post every other day about books, about my life, about other completely random things. And I started doing cosplay, so don't forget to check me out on there for more Percy Jackson cosplay, because that's mainly what I'm doing. And a whole bunch of other random things. And my DMs are always open for any book recommendations, video ideas, or if you just want to chat, because I'm cool with that too. Until next time, guys, keep reading, keep creating, and don't forget to be yourself, because you are you, you matter, and you are loved. Bye, guys!